I think the motivation behind what we're doing is huge. In this context, people are being told that their faith, that's one of the things, is it's separated from faith. It was all about this knowledge and this ability to beat your body into submission. That's what would save them. I think it is important to realize, like you mentioned, that a lot of these things here are mentioned in the Bible, but a lot of them were from the Jewish law. And it says right in Scripture that the law was intended to be temporary. It was intended to be put in place just to lead us up to Christ. And so to continue to observe the law, it talks about it being a shadow of things to come. And I really like that picture of a shadow. As I was thinking about shadow, I thought back to the fall, and I had an opportunity to go for a little walk with my granddaughter, Kalia, a little 2-year. It was a beautiful sunny day, and our shadows were out in front of us, and we were walking along, and I happened to notice it, and I thought, I'll bet she doesn't know anything about shadows. And so I started pointing out how our shadows worked and how mine was so much bigger than hers. And look, if we turn around backwards, our shadows are now following us instead of being out in front. And then we made our shadows do some funny things, and she was laughing. But that was great. But how sad would it have been if from that point on, she only ever wanted to interact with my shadow? And she ignored me, the reality that was right in front of her, the real person. And that's what it was with the law. The law was intended to be a forerunner, to guide us into this place where we felt our need for Christ because we couldn't fulfill this law. And so by continuing to worship and observe and follow the law after Christ came was in essence denying the reality of Christ and focusing on the shadow instead of the person of Christ. And so I think that's different than, in the New Testament, we are told, it is reaffirmed that here's certain ways that you should live, here's certain things you should avoid as a child of God to live a life worthy of the calling that you've received. And so there's a difference between self-discipline and self-control and this asceticism, this belief that if I deny myself, somehow I'm gaining favor with God. Somehow I'm buying my way, I'm earning my way into the kingdom. And so I think we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, which, by the way, that's a parenting tip for you there, Ryan.
They're supposed to bath at this age? I was waiting until she was like 12. I thought she could decide that on her own.
So that's always the big fear in this whole legalism debate, is if we make it too much by grace, then people are going to run rampant and just sin because it doesn't matter. And that's not the case at all. If you are truly saved and grasp the infinite love that God has for you and the depth of the sacrifice of Christ dying on the cross in order that you could be saved, then you want to live a life that's worthy of Him. And it's motivated by love, not out of fear or tradition or stuff like that.